Welcome back. You're watching News 9. We continue to track the latest emerging as far as the crises unfolding in Bangladesh over minority killings is concerned. Now, security has been tightened at Dhaka's Hazrat Shahjalal International Airport ahead of the return of BNP's acting chairman Tarique Rahman from London. The airport authorities have imposed a 24-hour ban on visitors, barring all non-passengers from entering terminal between 6 p.m. Wednesday to 6 p.m. Thursday. Biman Bangladesh Airlines has confirmed that the restriction has been enforced for operational and security reasons to ensure smooth passenger movement and airport discipline. During this period, only passengers carrying valid tickets and passports will be allowed inside the airport. However, BNP members arriving to welcome Tarique Rahman will be granted limited access. Tarique Rahman himself has appealed that no passengers should face inconvenience or harassment due to his arrival. Authorities say that security arrangement will begin from the moment his flight lands, with a strict cordon by law enforcement and intelligence agencies. Tarique Rahman and his family are scheduled to arrive from London's Heathrow Airport on Biman Bangladesh Airline flight BG202 on Wednesday evening. As part of the security protocol, changes have also been made to the cabin crew and coordination meetings have been held with multiple agencies to manage the high security arrival. And that's the latest as far as Bangladesh is concerned. We are, of course, discussing the situation as it unfolds in Bangladesh. Remember, violent protests were witnessed in India over the killing of Hindu man in Bangladesh, with many VHP members detained in the national capital. As a massive protest was seen outside Bangladesh High Commission on Tuesday afternoon, which is a day after a Hindu man was killed in Biman. And many Hindu groups, including the Vishwa Hindu Parishad, took part in the protest. As I mentioned, a massive protest by Vishwa Hindu Parishad and Bajrang Dal was seen outside Bangladesh High Commission in New Delhi, escalated into clashes with the police, prompting heightened security and diplomatic ripples. Hundreds of protesters gathered to condemn the attack on Hindus in Bangladesh, alleging targeted violence against minorities. Carrying saffron flags and placards, the crowd surged towards high security zone, breaking multiple barricades as the police struggled to contain the situation. Authorities had deployed a heavy police and paramilitary presence with layered barricading ahead of the protest. The demonstration was triggered by the lynching of a 25-year-old Deepu Chandra Das in Biman district, where he was allegedly first assaulted by the mob over blasphemy accusations and later set on fire. Protesters demanded swift justice, accountability from Bangladeshi authorities. In the aftermath, the Bangladesh High Commission in New Delhi temporarily suspended all visas and consular services, citing unavoidable circumstances. The move comes amid rising security and diplomatic tensions with India. And India, too, remember, suspended visa services in several Bangladeshi cities following violent protests there. And these developments unfold against growing unrest in Bangladesh after killing of radical youth leader Sharif Osman Hadi, adding to regional concerns over stability and minority safety. Joining us on the show is Ambassador Deepak Vora, is a former Indian diplomat. Ambassador Vora, as we look at what's unfolding in Bangladesh, highly condemnable at the same time. You know, the signs have been out there for us to see over many, many months now. So you're on mute, I believe.
Oh, you can't hear me?
Now I can hear you.
Thank you. Well, saying thank you very much. Always a pleasure to be with you on your amazing channel. And by the way, the presentation, the little introduction that you gave was outstanding, as you always are. So thank you very much. Let me tell you about Bangladesh. I've been there several times. I know that country backwards. My WhatsApp group has several retired Bangladeshi ambassadors, generals, and people from all countries, several countries. You know, India is on fire in the terms of its development, racing ahead. And Bangladesh, as you rightly said, is boiling. It's getting burnt very, very badly. Why? First of all, regime change was the idea of those jokers in the United States who foisted this former cook of Hillary Clinton. I don't know what he was. He was sent there and then he sat down. It was meant to be an interim government, even though there is no such thing as an interim government in Bangladesh's constitution. They would have a caretaker government, but no such thing as an interim government. So, having tasted power, he felt that he could stay on forever. Now, his nemesis is the elections. And the fact that the Begum Khalida Zia's party, she's very unwell, by the way, she's on ventilator, which effectively means that she's no longer with us. The ventilator is keeping her alive. And so they and Sheikh Hasina's party, they've had contacts in London. This he knows, and this guy is terrified. He's trying his utmost not to have elections. So what next? I'll tell you what next, ma'am. He is going to be in trouble. If elections are held, he gets kicked out. If elections are not held, he still gets kicked out. He's desperate. Now, this character, this student, you described him as a radical chap, this jihadi fellow, what's his name? Hadi, who was killed. Where was he taken after he was shot in the head? To Singapore? Kolkata is 45 minutes away. Who wanted him dead? Obviously, they didn't want him to survive. Where's the postmortem? What was the hurry to? We would have figured out from the bullets in his head where the bullets had been made. So it's very, very clear that these guys have a lot to hide. They have played with fire, this buffoon, Muhammad Useless Khan, and now he is burning because the fire is catching him. So they're trying to get rid. He's trying to distance himself or throw out the people who brought him to power, who booted out Sheikh Hasina, because they say, well, where's our pound of flesh? Exactly what is happening. It's a struggle for power. And he is going to lose. He's already 90 or 86 or something like that. He has nothing left. So you're looking at civil war. Moment the son of Begum Khalida Zia arrives in 2 or 3 days from now, there'll be further trouble. All this we have declared no-go zone for passengers and others, etc. There's going to be trouble. Nobody's going to listen to that. Nobody obeys the law in any case in Bangladesh. There is no law. They'll surge towards him and there will be trouble. Meanwhile, it is spreading to India also. We have shown them what it means to have people outside your diplomatic mission screaming and yelling. Finally, let me just tell you, ma'am, I hear a lot of people, give me one more minute, a lot of people saying, oh, Bangladesh mein ye ho jayega, then this will happen in India, etc. Great danger. You know, ma'am, we are very mature diplomats. I want to tell the millions of people who watch your show that the only bird that ever attacks the eagle is the crow. And it pecks the eagle. The eagle doesn't respond, doesn't want to waste energy. He just soars higher and higher and higher till it becomes so cold that the crow falls off. Now, this is what we are doing with. We are continuing with what we are doing. We're telling them, behave yourselves. Otherwise, if you think you want to take panga with us, a chicken's neck or buffalo's neck or whatever neck, bird's neck they talk about, ma'am, put it very bluntly, as the son of a soldier, as a half Pathan, I can tell you, 48 hours, Dhaka will cease to exist if I get angry.
And, you know, a lot of people today waiting and watching these violent protests unfold in Bangladesh, but also the repercussions that we are feeling in India, in the national capital, as you saw, you know, those protests by various Hindu groups. Where does the relationship between India and Bangladesh head from here on? Because, as you rightly pointed out, Mohammad Yunus, who was supposed to lead an interim government, it has far outrun his course in Bangladesh. Where does
He's outlived his utility. Absolutely.
If you say so, where does the relationship between the two countries head from here on?
You know, ma'am, after the assassination of Sheikh Mujib, there have been periods of ups and downs. There's been such roller coaster, right? There was a time when the Bangladesh border guards and our border security force were fighting at each other, and one of our chaps got killed. I still remember he was an assistant commandant or a DSP, and then I saw his body being brought tied to a pole. People were carrying it as though it was some kind of trophy. I remember those images. So we've had these ups and downs because Bangladesh is also Sheikh Hasina's time. She was, so we say, secular, but she was also mollycoddling the Islamic extremists. Bangladesh is, for some reason, as the economy tanks, it's always the economy, stupid. As the economy tanks, unemployment grows, etc., etc. The Rohingya issue also came in between. There was this issue that they are unhappy, the people. And Sheikh Hasina was a toughie. She tried to suppress the thing. It didn't happen. But now what I'm seeing, so if you talk of bilateral relations, I've seen this before with many countries. You remember Maldives, ma'am? You remember Sri Lanka? You remember Nepal? You remember Seychelles? Oh, sab khatam ho gaya. they promptly come and beg us. How will you survive without it? You think the Chinese will help you? They have no money to help you. Think the United States will help you? They've achieved what they wanted to. You think Jihadistan will help you? They are beggars themselves. Ultimately, they will come to us for energy and food, ma'am. Take it from me, the relationship will be repaired very quickly after the elections, if they are held.
If Sri Lanka and Maldives are any recent examples to go by, it only takes a year or two before the relationship bounces back. That brings me to my last question, Ambassador. What would be the role of Mohammed Yunus here in a way, shaping the civil unrest that we have seen? He often says that he inherited a fractured government and he inherited a fractured economy and he did the best that he could. But at the same time, the civil unrest has only gone from bad to worse in the last
no
many
question
months.
about it.
What
He's
role?
responsible.
Yes, sir.
Ma'am, he's responsible for it. He's not a politician. He's not a government fellow. He was a little banker somewhere. Man is a buffoon. I mean, when you go around making all these statements, we are the guardians of the oceans, and he goes, he's enjoying taking one of the shrinking fleet of Bangla Biman and going to this country and that country and being feted and he enjoys that when he knows it's the end of the road for him. My own feeling is the best thing that could happen to Bangladesh today is either this guy goes away and becomes Hillary Clinton's cook or chowkidar or whatever he was, or the Agyat log do what they have to. I'm not saying that anybody should harm him physically, but they should. And may I just say that this violence against the minorities, ma'am, they have accused Sheikh Hasina of genocide and all kinds of things. This is going to come to haunt this guy. The only lesson of history is that there is no lesson of history. If somebody, you or I or anybody, moves the International Court of Justice, the criminal thing, whatever, international court, right? No, the tribunal thing, the Rome Statute, and say that this guy is guilty of genocide, nobody in this world will be able to protect him. They've done that. I've seen that in many countries where I've saw it in Sudan, I've seen in Zimbabwe, I've seen it in many places. Then it becomes very difficult for him to survive. He won't even be able to travel if he's convicted.
Absolutely. And given that Mohammed Yunus had a great reputation before he ended up taking the post of, the chief advisor to the government or de facto prime minister, whatever you call him today, I think has only brought him a lot of disrepute in the past 1 year. Ambassador Vora, that's all the time I have. Always a pleasure, sir. Thank you very much for taking time out for joining us on the show. Well, let's quickly also listen into this report filed by my colleague. He was outside the Bangladesh High Commission when right-wing groups stormed, protested for the killing of minority in Bangladesh. Take a look.
After the horrific mob lynching of Dipu Chandra Das in Bangladesh, a massive protest call was given by VHP and the Bajrang Dal in front of the Bangladesh High Commission here in the national capital. Let me show you the visuals around. You can see the massive deployment of security personals outside the Bangladesh High Commission, the CRPF, the Delhi police. All of them have been deployed on ground to maintain the law and order situation. Meanwhile, the protesters gathered at the diplomatic enclave in the national capital at around 11 a.m. From this spot, they were not allowed to move forward by the Delhi police. Meanwhile, some of the workers have been detained by the Delhi police and they have been taken away from this location. Now, the VHP and the Bajrang Dal clearly says that this is not one-off incident that has happened in Bangladesh. In the past also such incidents has been reported from Bangladesh, and time and again the Hindus who have been residing in Bangladesh are being targeted. Now the VHP and the Bajrang Dal demanded that strict action needs to be taken against the people who are responsible for the killing of Dipu Chandra Das. In fact, they also demanded that security needs to be given to the Hindu families who have been residing in Bangladesh because there is a continuous threat to their life.